Janice Kaplan begins her story at a New Year's Eve party, feeling like something is missing from her life. Despite being a successful journalist with a loving family, she realizes she has fallen into the habit of focusing on what's wrong rather than what's right. That night, she makes a resolution to spend the next year living gratefully, not just in theory, but through daily, deliberate practice. This book becomes the documentation of that year, a personal and journalistic journey through gratitude and its power to transform everyday life. In the early months, Janice starts close to home. She explores how gratitude can affect relationships and begins with her marriage. She notices how easy it is to take a partner for granted and decides to change her behavior before trying to change her husband. When she begins expressing appreciation for small, often overlooked things he does, she sees a shift. Their interactions become warmer, less transactional, more curious. Gratitude, she finds, is contagious. It invites others to mirror back what they've been shown. Kaplan expands her gratitude practice to her children and extended family. She recounts mornings that used to feel like logistical nightmares, full of grumbling and chaos, but now become opportunities to appreciate fleeting moments. A quiet breakfast or a teenage hug becomes a highlight, not a throwaway. She begins to recognize that gratitude doesn't require grand events, just careful attention to what's already good. This shift in perspective turns routine into ritual and brings calm to what was once frantic. Eager to understand the science behind her experience, she speaks with leading psychologists and neuroscientists. She learns that gratitude changes the brain, rewiring it to focus more on positivity and connection. One conversation with Dr. Martin Seligman, a pioneer of positive psychology, reveals that people who keep gratitude journals sleep better, exercise more, and feel more optimistic. For Kaplan, this validates her experiment. Gratitude is not fluff, it's a proven tool for well-being. At work, she tries applying gratitude in professional settings. She begins appreciating colleagues aloud, even if it feels awkward at first. Instead of silently resenting difficult interactions, she looks for what she can learn from them. She notices that the mood in her office becomes lighter and more collaborative. Gratitude, she discovers, is not just a private virtue, it has organizational power. It can shift the culture of a team from one of quiet dissatisfaction to one of shared purpose. Midway through her year, Kaplan hits a slump. The initial excitement fades and practicing gratitude starts to feel forced. She confesses moments of skepticism and fatigue. But she pushes through, realizing that gratitude, like any discipline, is not always easy. She compares it to going to the gym. Some days you don't feel like doing it, but those are often the days it matters most. This honesty makes her journey feel real, not idealized, and affirms that gratitude is a practice, not a personality trait. As she revisits her past, Kaplan realizes how often she had missed opportunities to feel thankful. She writes about an old mentor she never properly thanked and reaches out to him. His response is emotional and affirming. She is struck by how deeply people crave appreciation and how rarely they receive it. Gratitude, she realizes, is not just about feeling good, it's about making others feel seen and valued. It has the power to restore old wounds and build new bridges. She then explores gratitude in the face of hardship. She meets people who have suffered major losses and still find space to be thankful. One woman, whose son died in a car accident, tells her that gratitude is what allowed her to survive her grief. Rather than being a naive denial of pain, gratitude becomes a lens that gives meaning to suffering. It's not about ignoring the bad, it's about refusing to let the bad erase the good. Kaplan challenges the idea that gratitude is only for the privileged. She reflects on her own upbringing and recognizes how much she had internalized a scarcity mindset, always looking for what she lacked. Through research, she finds that people who have less often practice more gratitude. It's not abundance that creates thankfulness, it's perspective. This realization changes how she views money, status, and ambition. The book also explores the intersection of gratitude and health. Kaplan interviews doctors who explain how patients with a grateful mindset heal faster and experience less pain. One cardiologist tells her that gratitude lowers inflammation and stress. Armed with this knowledge, she begins to experiment with how gratitude can influence her own health, sleep, diet, exercise, and finds that even physical well-being improves when her mindset is grounded in appreciation. In a surprising twist, she dives into how gratitude interacts with time. She notices how much of modern life is spent worrying about the future or regretting the past. Gratitude, she learns, anchors us in the present. It's impossible to feel thankful for something in theory, you must experience it as it happens. This awareness slows her down. She begins walking more, eating more mindfully, listening more deeply. The pace of her life doesn't change, but her presence within it does. One of the most moving parts of the book is her trip to a remote village, where she observes people living with very little but showing immense generosity. She compares their way of life with Western consumerism and notes how gratitude often emerges not from excess but from simplicity. The villagers are rich in connection, ritual, and meaning. She returns home with a new understanding. Gratitude is not a byproduct of having more, it's a decision to recognize what matters most. Kaplan also reflects on how gratitude helps us face aging and mortality. She speaks with older adults who are at peace with the end of life, many of whom say that thankfulness, not success, wealth, or fame, gave their lives meaning. She sees how people who cultivate gratitude over time end up with a kind of quiet wisdom. Gratitude doesn't erase fear of death, but it replaces bitterness with perspective and allows for a graceful exit. As her year draws to a close, Kaplan realizes that her gratitude experiment has become a way of life. It no longer feels like a project, but a lens through which she sees the world. Challenges still exist, but they don't dominate. She still argues with her husband and worries about her kids, but she does so with greater patience and less judgment. Gratitude, she finds, is not about pretending everything is perfect, it's about recognizing that even in imperfection, there is beauty. She ends the book with a sense of quiet transformation. Gratitude hasn't changed her circumstances dramatically, but it has changed her experience of them. By choosing to notice the good, to thank others sincerely, and to pause in appreciation, she has created a richer, fuller, more connected life. The Gratitude Diaries is not a manual, but a mirror, showing readers what is possible when you stop chasing what's missing and start honoring what's already there.